Hello and welcome. India, as you know, has an infrastructure deficit and a power deficit as well. Addressing some of those power challenges can be pretty tough, given that there is not just a capacity problem, but there's also a fuel problem. Let's put the question of how we get around the larger challenge of infrastructure and power to the former Power Minister of India, Suresh Prabhu, who joins me. Mr. Prabhu, thank you very much for joining us. We've been talking about how does India grow, to 8% and so on, or rather revive growth from the almost 5% that we've reached. So power is going to play a critical role in it. The government of the day is seized of the matter. There is a lot of investment going on. There is a lot of additional capacity being created. And yet there are problems, like for instance, coal linkages. There are problems about importing fuel. Where do we stand and how do we get the power part of the problem back under control so as to fix the larger problem of growth?
Absolutely, you are absolutely right in saying that we have a huge challenge here, because seems to be India is passing through all kinds of deficit. Fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, trade deficit, current account deficit, infrastructure deficit. But all this, I think, is coming out of one important deficit, that's policy deficit. I think that is what is really the cause of all this problem. And as you said, we have now come down to 5, but I think the last quarter was 4.45. I hope that's the bottom. And in fact, if you really look at it, where we have come down to, 2004, we had a huge surpluses. In terms of inflation was down, infrastructure was growing, there were a lot of policy initiatives which were giving results. And from there, if you read the economic survey of 2004, and I want not the budget but economic survey, which gives you a little bit realistic view about the situation on the ground. With the economic survey of 2013, what is the cause of this slide down? 2013 says that we need, 2013 economic survey says, so is the budget, that we need $1 trillion of investment into infrastructure in the next 5 years. That's almost $200 billion a year. If you want that, the economic survey also identifies the cause for it. It says that 43% of that has to come from private sector. And why the private sector is not coming? Because we have a challenge in terms of policy not being clear, and we're not able to implement whatever good policies we announce. So the government of the day, as you said, it's seized of the matter. They should be seized of this reality. And if they really work on it, I'm sure we'll be able to address it. Also, what is the reason for sudden slide down? Because if you need $1 trillion of investment in the next 5 years' time, it's not a small amount. It's almost 80% of our GDP of today. So if you really want to bring that money in, then you need savings. And the savings have gone down from 37% to almost 7 to 8 percentage point. That's a big, big slide. And therefore, we really need to put savings back into reality. We must make people save more. And the savings, as you know, is an aggregate of domestic savings, which is corporate, government, as well as the household. So if you really do not make each of them to save more, it's not going to happen. So I don't see a policy to that effect. Secondly, the relationship between savings and investment. If you want to invest, I think your investment ratio was pretty good, and then it has just dropped again. So how do you, if you want, without savings you want to invest, it's another challenge because the current account deficit is already there. It will widen more. So therefore, I think how do you get more of savings into India from domestic sources, it is an important thing. We get $60 billion every year from remittances. India is the highest recipient of remittances in the world. Despite that we have a trade deficit. So we really need to diversify our imports in a significant way. And thereby we have an opportunity there in terms of changing our energy mix in India. If you can change the energy mix in a manner that will actually help us to get over the balance of payment crisis, as well as current account deficit.
So at this point, what should be the priority? I mean, changing energy mix as a major policy thrust or reviving projects that are already in?
No, we need both. See, it is not either or. We need this and that, because India is in huge power deficit. In fact, our power deficit is so high that at peak level, we are something like 17-18%. At base load, we are something like 8-9%. But that's grossly understated figure. Because if you really look at the real demand, which does not get manifested only because there is no availability of power. What's the point of I am saying I want to drink 10 glasses of water when there's not even half a glass available to me? So I would like to quench my thirst with whatever is available. That's what happens in power sector. So if you really want to get a real demand assessment made, then you must be able to first give enough power to people, then only we'll see how the demand rises. Like it happened in China. China has more than 1 million megawatts of installed capacity. And they were and still they have a power shortages. Why? Because more supply leads to more demand leads to more capacity addition. So we need huge capacity. Challenge is there is one, I don't see any policy challenge here. We have Electricity Act 2003, which I had a good fortune of piloting in the parliament, which addresses almost all aspects of it. So legislatively, we are very clear about it. On policy, just not non-legislative administrative policies, we had launched Accelerated Power and Reform Development Program. $10 billion were committed to this, and we are supposed to bring down the losses from that. We've given the money, so we have done a great job. Everybody should be happy that we have spent the money, but no result, and that's another challenge. Thirdly, on fuel, which is going beyond the power ministry really, but it's a problem of the government. And the government cannot say it is this ministry, that ministry, and so many ministries. We don't want to hear the names of the ministries. We want a solution. And therefore, I've always been saying that the Prime Minister, as the head of this government, must actually be the leader of this initiative to bring all these stakeholders together and solve the problem. So fuel is going to be a major issue in India. We are already importing 100 million tons of coal, and Finance Minister is happy in saying that we are going to import 185 million tons of coal. So just making projection is not a job of the Planning Commission or the government. They must address the problem. And therefore, if we are going to import 185 million tons of coal, which in my opinion is very grossly understated, which will be at least 250 million tons of coal, what will happen to our balance of payment? What will happen to current account deficit? What will happen to the intrinsic value of rupee? And if the rupee depreciates more by say 20%, then what happens to the inflation down the below? So this challenge can be addressed by creating domestic source of supply for fuel, whether it's oil, whether it's gas, whether it is coal, or whether it is renewables. We really need to find out. So therefore, we look at only energy policy as energy challenge, forgetting that it has a huge transcending effect on macro level issues, whether it's current account deficit, it's a fiscal deficit, and many others. So we really need to address this properly. And there is the holistic approach is needed. You know, there is a power ministry looking at power issues, coal ministry looking at coal issues, finance ministry is saying, oh, it's a huge problem, planning commission saying why we didn't reach the target. So I think they are all just trying to obsessed with finding out not solution, but answering the rationalization of why the problem exists. That's what we don't need in the country.
Last question, which I think a lot of investors are asking, I would imagine domestic and surely international. When are these projects going to get back on track? We've already got projects waiting to get off the ground or have partly got off the ground and then stop.
No, you're absolutely right, because if you really look at it, I think this is very important to know the history, because those who forget history don't learn the right lessons from it. So one is that 2003, we had virtually a complete drought on projects. People were exiting power sector, not entering it. We got a new law made. In last 7-8 years, there has been an unprecedented rush, literally a gold rush, to put up power projects. All top groups of the country, as well as from abroad, wanted to just put money into one sector, that's the power sector. So that showed the efficacy of that law, the utility of the legislation. What happened then? Then we just took our eyes off onto something which is more important, that distribution. If we fix distribution, make the utilities commercially viable, stop their losses, which are actually completely bleeding them, we'll be able to solve the problem. So now the projects which are already there, which are completed 80%, 70%, 40%, all those projects, I think the Power Ministry must monitor on a day-to-day basis. I think Power Minister must make sure that it is his personal mission to address this. But as I said, we need another of his allies. So I think this government is a coalition government, but looks like there is no coalition between the ministries. I think they really need to bring the coalition and try to address this challenge, not to point fingers at others, but to say these are the 5 fingers which will work together, not point at each other.
Right, Mr. Prabhu, we run out of time. Thank you so much for speaking with us.